I'm Russ.
And I'm Laura, and a few years ago we sold everything to travel by bicycle.
Our mission is to inspire others to travel by bike, so we'll show you the best places to ride,
share stories of bike culture,
and explore the local color.
Follow us to New Zealand. These are our Kiwi Chronicles.
After 2 months of traveling in New Zealand and talking to people about the New Zealand Cycle Trail Network, there is one trail that almost everyone mentioned.
The Otago Central Rail Trail.
The Otago Central Rail Trail.
The Otago Rail Trail.
I guess they're sort of seeking to replicate the success of the Otago Rail Trail.
It became clear that we had to see the Otago Central Rail Trail for ourselves, so we slowly worked our way down the South Island.
In Dunedin, we reunited with the Davidson family, who we first met on Forgotten World Highway and who were joining us for a day on the rail trail.
So we're here in the small little community of Hyde, and we're about to hop onto the Otago Central Rail Trail. We're finally here. It's the linchpin of the whole new cycle trail network, and we are joined by the Davidson family that we met on the Forgotten World Highway, so we're really looking forward to getting out and doing some riding today.
We came here about 10 years ago, I suppose, when it first opened, and this building here was just all closed up, and then Nairi, I think her name's Nairi, opened up this Otago Central Hotel, and it's become really a popular place to stop and really the only place to stop and hide. And she makes fabulous food, and you can stay here, and there's a nice little cafe. We could just stay here.
The Otago Central Rail Trail runs for 150 kilometers between Middlemarch and Clyde in the Central Otago region. Over 14,000 people each year ride this gravel trail, which was once an active rail line. It generates an estimated $12 million a year for the region.
It's a passport which you can get at each station, and lots of people get them and put them on pieces of paper and also on their body, and you can stamp them onto your hand like that, and you can do it on your other hand.
Ta-da!
You're not going to stamp your body?
Not today. I will leave that to the experts.
Yeah.
The rail trail is known for its great pubs just off the path. At the end of our first day, we enjoyed the beer and said goodbye to the Davidson family.
Bye, guys! Bye! Over the next several days, we slowly rode the length of the trail, stopping along the way to talk to local business owners. In Wedderburn, we spoke with Graham Duncan, who was an early skeptic of the rail trail and is now a strong supporter.
They decided to build a rail trail, and we all said, oh, that won't work. Nothing else had worked in the 80s and 90s. Rural New Zealand is shrinking away.
Right.
And it's been the very thing that's been successful, of course.
Yeah.
The area, like a lot of rural New Zealand, it's depopulated in these areas. Farms have got bigger. There's not as many people living in them, so services fall away.
Yeah.
And that's what would have happened here. In the 80s and 90s we lost our school, we lost our garage, lost our little shops, our post offices, all those little things were closing in rural areas. So we said, and then we lost our train in 1990.
Yeah.
So he said, what's left?
Right.
And why is the rail trail going to be the answer? If nothing else would work. But it was. It brought people back through, and 12 to 15,000 people a year going through the trail here from all over the world. So it's been a wonderful success. It's been the success story of the area, really.
Yeah.
I'd say it's been the biggest success since the gold rush. And
That's saying a lot.
Yeah, and then the settlement of farms, and now the rail trail.
All along the trail, we saw evidence of its success bringing new people into the region and revitalizing small communities.
One of the surprises of the rail trail is the abundance of amazing food in all the small towns.
It's a big bike burger. As you can see, it lives up to its name. It's huge. You've got a hamburger patty, piece of ham, an egg, hash brown, pineapple, cheese, tomato, of course beetroot, onion rings, and chips to top it all off. So definitely excellent riding food when you're on the rail trail.
I think I got all the ingredients. It's like every food item in the world. Buy it. In Omakau, we spoke with Stacey, the manager of the commercial hotel.
We've been here for 5 years now, so I'm a third generation from Omakau. Went away and did things and came back and basically we bought the hotel because we could see the potential with the rail trail.
What was the area like before the rail trail? Do you remember?
The area was, going right back to when it was actually a bustling railway area. It was actually a thriving little town, but then once the railway actually left and the terminal went through to Alex, it was pretty quiet. And the great thing about the rail trail now is that it's actually generating income. All the old buildings are getting done up, including the hotel as well. We've over the last 5 years we've basically refurbished everything.
Was there a lot of skepticism when the rail trail was first proposed?
Definitely, yeah. When it originally opened in 2010, and a lot of the locals said, if I see people, on bikes in droves, they pretty much said that they'll eat their hat. So I think they've now put tomato sauce on their hat because it's been a great thing, and there's a lot of cyclists that come through and get to see the rural towns of Central Otago.
As we neared the end of our rail trail experience, we were excited to have seen bike economics in action. In Alexandra, we had the great opportunity to learn the history and backstory from Daphne Hull, the chair of the Otago Central Rail Trail Trust. Did it seem like from the beginning that it could be beneficial to the area?
I had no idea.
No?
No idea. It was a good idea to get people out into the country. We thought it would be a good use of a railway line that wasn't going to be used for that purpose any longer. Should we or shouldn't we? There were people who were against it. Ministers of the Crown were against it. One of our local ministers said, all you'll see is a ribbon of weed from out of space. It'll be neglected and nobody will be taking any care of it. It's just a waste of money, and who wants to go on an old railway line anyway? And this sort of talk. But we persevered. We had a belief that it would be an interesting place to go. We had no idea that it would be as popular as it is. We had no idea that it would bring in the economic benefits that it has now. It's been a very long negotiation with neighbours, to get us where we are today. So it's successful now. And some of those farmers were very much against us being on the trail. They didn't want it to be a trail. They didn't want people to go through beside their property and disturb their stock and light fires and let their pet dogs go all over the place. You think of a reason why we shouldn't be there, and they had it. And I'm sure that other people who you've spoken to will have said they've changed their mind completely because they can see the benefits, and they now are probably the best supporters of the rail trail that we've got. But we have to prove that their fears were unfounded. Initially, we took all our meetings out to the communities to tell them, this is what we're going to do. Are you going to support it? Do you think it's a good idea? And that's when the farmers were saying, over my dead body, and the wives were saying, I might be able to make something of this. I've got a spare room that I probably could convert into accommodation. You could see the two minds working in opposite poles, but at least, and it was eventually that the wives that won the day, and they could see the opportunities there. And so, they said, well, I've got a spare room here, I've got a spare room there. That was the initial accommodation. It was, what have we got available that we can tempt people into? There's a buzz in the community now. There's a pride. There's a renewed pride in their community, and they want to do things. And some of them, improved the railway areas and made it attractive. We haven't done all of that. They've wanted to do that because there's that feeling of, this is our community. Let's look after it. Let's do something about it, because we're really proud to be living here and showing our community off to the world. But we did deliberately go out on a reasonably regular basis all along the rail trail and let the people in that community know that we were going to go there, and we'd say, hey, this is what we're going to do, this is what we'd like to do, this is what we believe will be the benefits to this community. And we just kept talking and explaining and talking and explaining. And it goes back to what I said before, the skeptics were out there, but there were also others who could see the opportunities. They could actually start going tick inside their head and say, hey, what have we got to lose? If there's something in there, let's give it a shot. And I think this is the advice I would give. Meet often, talk openly, be honest with what you're intending to do and how you're intending to do it. But if you have to meet more frequently, we'll meet more frequently, because people, if you don't talk to people, then they start imagining things that are maybe not there or not true. Be honest with them and tell them exactly what is planned, and encourage them to work with you, work together. That's the important thing. Then what you don't know, you mistrust. And I think that's where they need to keep that open dialogue.
So it really is about creating relationships.
Relationships, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.